Okay, this is take 3 because I've been having microphone issues. So hopefully this goes smoothly. I've done it a few times. Anyway, it says my order from Happily After Designs is ready to download. And I've already gone through these steps, but I still want to go through them again with you. So I'm going to say view your files on Etsy. I'm going to click on that. And if you look in your bottom right hand corner, a little status bar comes up, window, and it tells you where your file is and you can download it. But what happens if you can't find that? Oh, I just saw something I liked. I would have liked to have done these. Maybe next year. But anyway, what if this window closes? You can always find your files if you go up to your profile, up where it says your account at the top of the screen where my little hand pointer is, and view your account. And then you can go purchases and reviews, and it goes through what you've purchased. And here's my Be Mine, and right beside it is download files. So let's download that file for the 3rd time, and then we just get a download queue here. So I'm going to download that, and you're going to say, where does it go? Well, if you have a Windows computer and you haven't set it up or changed any of your settings, you'll see that when you open your File Explorer, you see you have a folder called Downloads, and it's actually over here as well. But because I use it so often, it's my frequent folders. If not, you might have to go down like your C drive where my documents, my pictures and that are, and Downloads is there. But we'll just click on that, and then we've got this HAD Be Mine pencil. So now I like to open another window, and I am going to right click on my File Explorer down in the bottom left corner by the search bar. I'm going to give it a right click, and then I'm going to say left click on File Explorer. And what this does is it opens a second window for you, and then you can play with the 2 windows. So I keep my files, I don't keep my files in my downloads folder, because if you keep a whole bunch of them in there, it starts to act up on you, and plus it gets so confusing. I like to get everything organized and put away right away. So I'm going to click on my new volume. This is just another hard drive I have on my machine. You probably will use my documents, but I'm going to use my new volume. And I have a folder called 001 Temporary Embroidery Files. And the reason I have that file is I'm working on embroidery files. So I'm just playing with them in here and trying to organize them and just get everything better. So anyway, if you name something with the 001 or 002, it automatically takes it to the top of your file list, so you don't have to search for it every time. So anyway, I'm going to click on Temporary Embroidery Files. Then I also like to keep them in my new folder for a while until I've tried them and decided if I like them or not, if I'm going to use them again. There's no use them taking up space on my hard drive if I'm never going to use them. So I keep them in the new folder, and then when I have time, I'll come and I'll do some computer cleanup, and I'll move them to where they belong in the files below. I keep all my files grouped in folders by the vendor I bought them from or the business I bought them from. So if I go here, I'll click on my 01, my new files, because that's where I want to put this. And I already set up a folder called HAD for Happily After Designs, but I'm going to delete it so that we can go through this again. Oh, I have it in a program, I'm working on it. Okay, I can't do that because I'm already working on it in another program. So I'm going to just click on a new folder, and we'll just call it HAD1, and that's what we're going to work in today. Because I actually have some files open in another program, and that's why it won't let me delete that original file. But I want to show you how to get it over here, get everything over into your file. The easiest way and the way to keep your files clean, I think. Other people may have other ideas, but this just works for me. I've worked on computers for a lot of years, and I've had to manage a lot of files. So this is my system that I use. It may not work for everyone, but this works for me. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this Downloads folder where I've got that HAD Be Mine pencil, and I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to hold that left mouse button down, and I'm going to drag it over to my new file I just made in my temporary embroidery files and my new. So I'm going to just move it there, and now you see it's there. I'll have to go back and delete it out of my downloads later, but let's just work on it here right now. So I'm going to double click on it in my HAD folder, and you can see there's all the files, but I can't really use them like this, so I'm going to extract all. Now, the reason I moved them into a separate file away from the downloads folder is because if I had just done it in the downloads and I had opened it and it said extract and I extracted it, and everything would be here, and if you didn't get to it to organize it for a few days, you'd just have a mess here and you'd forget what's what, and it's just so much easier to give it a file right away and have everything contained in that file. So I don't need to browse because Windows automatically detects, hey, I'm going to keep it in temporary embroidery files, the 01 new, HAD1, HAD, and B9 pencil. So I'm going to tell it extract, and the computer's going to do all the work. So now you can see it's in this folder. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to go back. If you go to this bar here, you can see I've got it highlighted in blue. If you go, I can go back one step by pressing HAD1, and that shows me I have 2 files in this under this company already, but I don't need to keep them separate. They're 2 folders, so I'm going to move the zipped one. I'm just going to hold that left mouse button down, and I'm going to drag it up to the first one, the one with the pencil, and I'm going to let go. And what that's going to do, let's open it. Now you can see that zip file is still here. You can see it zipped. Okay, next step I'm going to do is I'm going to go over, right click in my downloads on that file. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to hit delete, and then it's gone and I can close that file. So there's instructions here. Oh, isn't that nice? It's really nice when they give you instructions. So I'm going to go and I'm going to double click on that, and it tells you, what all the information about it. It shows you your stitching order here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to print that, because I've already printed it actually, but to go through the steps to print it, up in your toolbar here, there's over to the right, there's a little print icon. You just print that up. It brings up your printer, and then you can just print, and it'll print. But I don't need it to do that, so I'm going to hit cancel, and then I'm going to go back to that file. I just want it to open one pencil. I want to use my 8x8 inch hoop, and I like to use that because it's magnetic and it's really easy to load and unload the stabilizer. So I'm going to click on the B9 pencil. If I had a 4x4 pencil, 4x4 hoop that I wanted to use, I would use this file. And similarly, if I had a 5x7, I would use this file. But I'm just going to use the single one right now. And now you can see all of these are blue, but one is yellow. Wonder why? Well, I have all of these set up to open in another program on my computer because I don't own these machines. Each embroidery machine has its own language, or each brand, and my brand uses a PES file. So I have my computer set up. When it sees a PES file, it's going to open it in Brilliance. So all I need to do is double click on that file, and it's going to open in Brilliance for me, which I already have open down here. Now you can see it came up in here, and I've got my 8x8 inch hoop set up already. And the way I do that is I go into Edit, and I go Preferences, and these are all the hoops for a PES machine. So I just click the one, I have a Quattro, and it's 200 by 200 millimeters, and then down here it tells us, or approximately 8x8, and that's what I want to use. So I'm going to click OK, and that's my hoop. Well, I don't want to just make one of these at a time, because that would take me forever. I want to make a lot at a time. So what I do is I drag that up there, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to copy, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to paste. And then I'm just going to drag it, or click on this and drag it over here. And I think I can only get 3 on a row. I think I tried. So now I'm going to right click, copy, left click. See. Oh, left click, or right click, paste, sorry. Oh, my brain went. So it's right click, copy, right click, paste. And I don't think you need kind of room to get around. So if I did right click, copy, left click, paste, yeah, I just don't have room for that last one. So we're just going to go right here. Well, might as well give ourselves room to cut around, because we're going to have to cut these out after. And if they're really close together, it makes it hard. We have to make sure, if you look here, there's the little part that sticks down on the pencil. We need to make sure that we don't put our design there. So now I'm going to right click, copy, right click, paste. And I'm going to pull it there. And here it's showing all my jump sticks. Right click, copy, right click, paste. And I'll pull it from there. Okay. Now, an easy way to do that, if I hadn't accidentally had that extra one, I would have done it this way. I can just highlight these three. And see how it has a box around the three? And then I'm going to right click, copy, right click, paste. And that's going to bring three of them down. Now I have to move these up. And it would have been easier if I had just grabbed them all together. Like I'll grab these together and I'll move. Oh, I guess doesn't work that way in Embroidery. Cricut Design Space does. Okay, but now if you look, I have this Be Mine pencil over here in this blue area. I have all these stitches. It's going to stitch out each one individually, and then I'm going to have to do the next one. I don't want to do that. I want it to do the same step, you know, do one step and then do the next on all of them to make it quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to my utility up at the top in my menu bar, and I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to say color sort, because they're using the same colors in each one. This is going to sort them, so this is going to make it much easier. And watch this. I'm going to put save it, and I'm gonna actually I'm not going to save it. I'm just gonna I just color sorted it, and I could view it, but it's there. It's color sorted now. So now you can see I have one. Oh no, sorry, I didn't finish color sorting it. Well, let's do that again. Let's go utility, color sort, and then we'll go new view. When we go to new view, see what happened? I have this over here, and I've only got a 1. So if I click this plus sign, you can see that now when it stitches, it's going to stitch them all each step. So now, like when it does its first stitch, which is a round stitch, I believe, around it, it's going to do it on all of these, and then it's going to go to the next color, and I won't have to be swapping colors all the time. It'll do them all. So it's just really streamlines the program. So now what I can do is I don't have my thumb drive here, but I can just go file, save as, and I need to get out of here because it's not my drive. I'm going to go into my D drive. I'm going to go into, unfortunately this one is backwards. I'm going to go into my temporary embroidery designs. I'm going to go to 01 new. What company was that? Oh, this is the HAD1 file we were working in. I'm going to go into Be Mine pencil, and I'm going to just put 8 by 8. And that's going to tell me this is the file that I worked on. That is 8 by 8. So now I can save that to a thumb drive, and I can take it over to my embroidery machine, and we will stitch it up. Got my embroidery machine turned on, and where's my little stylus here? I'll just click that. Oh, I have to remove my embroidery frame. I was getting too far ahead of myself. Okay. We're going to embroidery edit, and we're going to go to the USB. And then I'm just going to put this frame back in. I'm using my 8x8 magnetic frame, and I've hooped it already because sometimes I struggle to hoop it. And then I'm going to click on this one. This is the one I edited in Embroidery. And I forgot to mention, make sure, unless you want them to stitch one after another, if you have white thread, when you pull it into embrilliance, let's say that's your first stitch and your last stitch is white, when you combine all those stitches, it puts them both at the same time. So with this design, I had to go back in and I had to change each color so that every color was different, so that it stopped before each color and kept them in the right order. I hope that makes sense. If not, I'll explain it better in a further video when we do embroidery again. So I'm just going to turn this camera slowly. And this is ready to sew. So I'll just press remove, and I'm using red thread to start with. So I'll probably fast forward through most of this and just put it to music. I hope you enjoy it. I enjoy watching my embroidery machine go. Okay, the next step is, those were the placement lines telling you where to place your fabric. So I'm just going to place my fabric over top of them and leave it hang out the bottom. It's a little bit longer than I need, and I'll trim it after. And I don't think I need to tape it. I think I'll just keep an eye on it as it goes, since it's one big piece. Once you get a couple of circles done, it'll be secure. So we'll stitch this in red. So now it's tacked that down. Now it's going to stitch out what's called a triple bean stitch, and that's just kind of a reinforced straight stitch, just to reinforce the edges a bit more. So we'll get that going. Now the challenge, to see if I can thread the machine around the tripod. I did move the camera closer so that I can get closer to the machine. And in case you're wondering, this is a brother machine. It's called the Quattro, and I bought it used about 10 years ago or so, maybe longer. So I didn't pay the full price of an embroidery machine. I could never afford to pay that. This equivalent to the new model that's equivalent to this model is like $25,000 US almost. And that's ridiculous. I could never justify that. So I hope and pray that this machine never dies on me, because it's all I need. And I did get it for a really good price. Anyway, now it's going to stitch Be Mine, and I chose to do those words in white. So, and I did stitch out 8 of these before, and I had issues with thread, so I may have to fix a few things as we go along. Okay, so now it's going to stitch down a placement line for the little bumblebee in the center. And then I'm going to put yellow felt over top of it, and it'll stitch down that, and we'll trim that. So we'll just get it going here, and it's going to stitch a yellow circle in every one of these red circles. Going to trim this thread out of the way. Okay. And now I'm going to put this down here. Okay, when I was holding these down on my machine, I wasn't really applying any pressure. I was just lightly touching it to keep it from the presser foot from hitting it. So now, I'm not sure if I can do this on camera or not. I'm just gonna trim around these circles. And I think my hand gets in the way, because you want to hold up that felt. You don't want to cut through your red felt. And if these aren't perfect, that's okay. These are for kindergarten kids, and they're just going to love them. They're not going to look and say, oh, that person couldn't cut very well. Well, Nova might. Yeah, I don't know how I can, without my big fingers in here. But I'll just cut these. I'll finish this one, and then I'll do the rest off camera and come back for the next step. Okay, so I've trimmed all the felt around here. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. Believe me, the kindergartens won't say, well, they might say, oh, Nova's grandma sure can't cut a circle very good. Or very well. So now we're going to stitch the antenna, and then the eyes, and the mouth, and then we're pretty much almost done. So let's just get this going here. Okay, so now it's going to stitch the last circle, which means it's going to stitch the back to the front. So I'm going to change the thread back to red. Just give me a second here. It's hard working around a tripod. I feel I've never had to do that because I always hang my camera. And I might have to get something figured out for here. Okay, I can feel as I'm threading this that it's not right. So I'm going to just re-thread it. There's no point. If you can feel tension on your thread as you're threading it, you have threaded something wrong. And don't even try to sew because you're just going to have trouble. Just take the few seconds it takes to re-thread your machine. Okay, I'm going to take this off and I'll be right back and show you what I've done. Okay, so I've taken a piece of white felt for the back. Normally I would use red to match, but I don't have enough red and I buy white by the yard, so I have enough white. So I just taped it at the very top of the frame because once those tops are done, they tack it down and it's just that we have to worry about. The rest will be fine. So I've changed my thread. Just double checking that that hasn't folded over and that looks good. And we'll just stitch. We've got 2 more steps here. Our last step is to just stitch 2 little lines that will give us a space to put our pencils in. I love that sound when it's done. So we're all done stitching. And I'll bring one up in the camera here so you can see it there. So what I need to do now is I need to cut these out and just around this line and cut each of these out. And I'll just bring the back to show you. I'll need to clean up a bit of the little stitches in the back, but that's what it looks like on the back. And like I said, we'll just trim around there. And I'll come back and show you when I'm done. But I'm all done the embroidery part. That's the biggest part. So see in okay, one more project to do and then I'm done for Valentine's Day this year. I have a lot of things I wanted to do, but I just ran out of time. And I believe this was from Dollar Tree, if I remember right. Here's the little stand. I better not lose that. Yeah, Dollarama usually has their little sign on there. So what I want to do is I want to put a picture of my granddaughters in here. And I'll use this as a template to draw them when I'm done. But I want to cover it with this paper. And then I'm going to put something on here from Cricut Design Space, or no, Creative Fabrica. Something about like, all because two people fell in love, and then I'll put a picture of my grandchildren in there. So I think that should look okay. So I grab some Mod Podge. I gotta grab a sponge. Oh, they're over here. Talk about being ready. I always think of stuff after I start. But, oh, I haven't opened this Mod Podge. I don't know if I have another one though. And then after, I will put wax paper here in between the lid and that. That's not working very well for me. Told you, glue and I do not get along. So we'll just spread some Mod Podge on here. And the paper's a little bit thick, so I want a good coat of Mod Podge. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Ooh, I got a lot out of there. And then while this dries, we'll go into Cricut Design Space and print or get our design ready and cut out. This will take a little while to dry. So I'll set this to the side. Turn it upside down. And what do I have that's heavy over here? Well, I'll find something off camera. And I'll meet you back at Design Space and we'll find a design for this. Okay, we're in Cricut now, and I have uploaded this image. Every family has a story. Welcome to ours. And I'm just going to add it to my canvas. And all I really need to do with this is size it where I want it. And I think I measured about 4 by 4.5. So actually, I'm going to make a shape here. And I am going to do a square. And then I'm going to unlock it like I always do. And it's going to be 4.5. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to Operation at the top left hand of the screen. And I'm going to change Basic Cut to Guide. And when I use Guide, I don't have to hide it when I go to cut, because it's just a guide to place our image in. I think that's a great thing that Cricut added. And now I have to decide, do I want this all in one color? Because it has broken up. And I could do that. But I think I'm going to keep it plain and simple. I love this. Every family has a story. Welcome to ours. And I see that everything over here is not attached. So let's see what would happen if we went to make this. And actually we can, well, I have my Explorer out, so we'll use my Explorer. Let's click on Make It and see what happens. See what happens? Every letter is separate. If I had just went to cut it that way. So I need to cancel this. And we need to go back and we need to select Every Family Has a Story, and we need to attach all of that. And now let's see what happens when we go to make it. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to change the color just to make it easier to see on the mat. Okay, and then we'll click Make It. On the mat, confirm, and there it is all together. So when we weed it, it's all together and we don't have to worry about making sure everything fits. So I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to pick out some vinyl and I'm going to cut it, And when our Mod Podge has dried and we can come back to our frame, we'll come back and finish it up. Okay, this is fairly dry now. I kind of took this is what I get when I get my nails done, when she's done with my nails. And I just lightly sanded it to kind of age it, and we will sand around the edges when we're done. But right now I'm just going to use my Cricut knife, and I'm just going to cut along the frame. And then we'll cut here. So we can put this to the side. We're done with that. This was actually a very quick craft. Oopsie. You just want to cut along the heart. You don't want to actually cut the wood. Boy, this knife is sharp. Oopsie. Okay, so we've cut that out. I'll put the lid back on this very, very sharp knife. And now I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to age the edges a bit. And my daughter-in-law loves purple, and this has got a little bit of a mauve hue to it. So I'm going to grab right away. Let's get rid of all this dust. Okay, I'm going to grab one of my purples here, and I'm wondering if mulberry is probably the color. And now I've got to look for some little finger things. Oh, here's a purple one. And I'm just going to dab it in there, and I'm just going to go along these edges. There we go. This was really dry, so we had to really work at getting that ink to come out onto it. This just adds a bit of age to it. And then I'm going to kind of try to go where I sanded it before. I wanted to do cards for the girls too, but I just ran out of time. I'll have to start earlier next year, but it just seems between me and Mom. And you know what? It is what it is, right? Don't fret over it. Okay, so there we have that. And I have my close to my heart inks right here because I really like using them now. I'm going to clean that really well because I'm going to put some vinyl on there. And here's the vinyl. It kind of goes with these. It's not really, it's like a light copper bronze kind of color. And I just noticed something that I should have welded these together. If you can see here, you can see the lines where the letters were. I should have welded that, but we'll see how it reads. I didn't notice it when I was looking at the image, but then again, I was in kind of a rush, so. Okay, I got interrupted and I decided, you know what, I'm just recutting that. And I did the same setting with more pressure. So we'll see how this works. And I also welded it together instead of attached. Learned my lesson there. I'm going to cut this as well. It's weeding much better though. Every time I go to Walmart, they don't have any blades, and they have the deep blade, but I don't need the deep blade. But and Michael's is closed because there was a fire before Christmas and they haven't reopened yet. So there really isn't any place around here to pick up blades unless I order from Cricut. But I've been holding off on doing that. It's not supposed to be spending, but boy, I went on a spending spree at the beginning of the week. Yeah, this is doing much better now. I just wanted to make sure that those little letters stayed where they were. And I'll cut this here too. Every family has a story. Welcome to ours. Okay, I'm going to use this as my transfer tape because I'm doing it on paper and I don't want something with high tack. I'm going to trim this down. Talk about not having high tack. I'm going to trim it down so it's the same size as my vinyl. Sage, we're going to go downstairs right away, okay? Oh, my poor dog. I don't know how much longer she'll be with us. Poor thing. He's our little baby. I should have maybe left this till tomorrow. I'm kind of tired. I'm getting a little frustrated. But it's going to be nice when it's done. And I kind of want to deliver all this tomorrow. So I need to stand or I'll get this crooked like I always do. nice that you can see through that tape fairly well. I have so much to learn about doing this vinyl. Like, this is almost too close to the colors of these things. But anyway, I'll put a photo of my granddaughters together in here. And then this goes on the back, just right in here. And it'll stand up. And they'll have a nice little memento of this Valentine's Day. Every family has a story. Welcome to ours. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. We've got quite a lot done in this video, and I would have liked to get more done, but ran out of time. But I got to get back to my journal in the next video. So I wish you lots of luck, love, and happiness until we meet again. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.